Welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Student Body Rights USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle. Check me out also on Instagram at put on waivers underscore podcast. So USC 38. Wisconsin 21. A great job by the Trojans here to kind of dominate this game. Last year's motto was the longer it goes, the better we get. And that seems like it was a year too early because that's exactly what's happening with the Trojans this year. They got down 20-10 at the half. After that, they didn't look back. 28 unanswered points in the second half. And they just dominated after that. Great job by the coaching staff. Great job by Lincoln Riley to get that offense cranked up in the second half. And also great job by Dante Lynn in that defense to just once they see it, it seems like once they see it and they see what the game plan is, they kind of shut everything down. And they did a great job of just shutting everything down in the second half. And then, let's be honest. Like as far as this offense and defensive goes, the thought process was Lincoln scores 30, and if you can get a defensive coordinator who can come in and just keep somebody within 14 to 21 points, this is going to be victories for the Trojans, and that's kind of the model you're seeing right now. There was a special teams blunder in this game. I don't know if there is a little bit of apprehension about you trying to force big plays with Zachariah Branch, but he had a ball go between his legs. Where if he just continued to keep coming forward, he would have caught the ball pretty easily. The ball went through his legs. Trojan touched it, and the next thing you know, they the Badgers scored. USC got that play back as Wisconsin muffed the punt themselves. So kind of those two things kind of even themselves out. But USC ran the ball well, threw the ball well. I think the biggest issue in this game was the turnovers for USC. This game could have been even more lopsided if they didn't turn the ball over as much. Miller Moss had a fumble. You can't have that. You can't have the INT through when that ball can't be thrown to the inside, has to be thrown to the outside, where Zachariah Branch can make a back shoulder on that. So, and there's pressure that was in the pocket, but really wasn't there if he just steps to the right. Excuse me, if you take a hard step to the left, but for the most part, the Trojans dominated this game, and then look like they're just trying to get better and better every week as the season goes on. This is where we thought they would be right now, 3-1. After playing Wisconsin really didn't have much to offer, despite what their content creators had to say about USC. Miller Moss, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and one INT. We talked about that. Jaquarius Marks, 19 carries for 63 yards. And then you had Quentin Joyner, who everybody loves. I know everybody's anxious to see Quentin Joyner get 20 carries in the game, but he also has to be good in pass protection. So that's when you see young running back don't not get as many carries. A lot of it could be because of pass protection. So you want to make sure he has the pass protection assignments down. But it's a long season. They're both going to get good carries. They're both really good backs. They both offer USC some different things offensively. So just slow your roll. It's going to come. I wouldn't sweat about the carries that Quentin Joyner has, and especially Marks and him are both very how can I put it, very versatile as far as being able to run it and catch it out of the backfield, which is kind of a prerequisite for a Lincoln Riley offense. Speaking about receiving, I thought it was interesting as far as the distribution of passes. It looks like the connection from Miller Moss to Jacoby Lane is a thing that college football has to deal with here. 10 catches, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jacoby he's just been that leader on the offense, and whenever they need a big play in the red zone, that right side of the right side of the end zone is just his right now. There's no other way to say it. It's just his, and you got to take it away from him. So he's long. He's fast enough to get by you. He can make acrobatic catches like he did on that first touchdown run. That first touchdown catch, and then he made a little jump ball catch, above the shoulder catch, if you will, in the back of the end zone for another touchdown. Then you also have Zachariah Branch, who muffed the punt, came back and came back and had 4 catches for 44 yards. Kyron Hudson, 4 catches for 42 yards. But I think the one guy who I think we all want to see get the football a little bit more and a little bit more targets would be Deuce Robinson. Deuce Robinson is a guy who's explosive, who can make all these different acrobatic plays. You can't deal with them as far as just putting a corner on him or a safety. Can't put a linebacker on him either. He just is explosive, and he also has his hands have improved so much from last year. I definitely want to see him get like we could use a couple of games where he has the second amount of targets to Jacoby Lane. Seems like everything that Deuce Robinson gets is in the second half of football games. I want to see him get some more stuff in the first half of football games. He had a touchdown reception in this one as well. Jacoby Myers continues his streak of at least having 1 catch in a game. Good to see Walker Lyons get involved as well too with the injury, an injury to the tight end room as well. We got to worry about a little bit about Eric Gentry who came off the field um, this in this game. As long as he's ready for Penn State, I think we're good. I really don't want to see him like force anything to play in Minnesota, which we will preview the Golden Gophers game later on in the week. But Kamari Ramsey continues to make a huge impact on this football team. Just destroying people in the flat. It's just been crazy. Mason Cobb had a return, had an INT return for a touchdown, and that's pretty much special teams. The muff to punt. Lance had 1 chance at a field goal. He made it. So that's always good to see. And we got a 38.7 yard average for Eddie Saplinski, if you will, as far as the special teams go. But I think really the story of this game is, and it's kind of this theme of this USC football team this year is what they do in the second halves of ball games. And they really have just taken out and I think they give like 20 something points. That's it in 4 games in the second half. They have really done a great job in the second half of these games. And I feel like once this defensive coaching staff sees it, they're like, okay, that was your plan. Okay, good. Now we can take all that stuff away. And they've been able to do that. I think that they've been very impressive in that mold as far as just being a really good second half football team. And they did enough in the first half to kind of just stay close. A lot of that it should have really been 14-10 at the half, not 14, not 21 to 10 at the half, but they were able to weather that storm. Didn't panic, didn't press. They just slowly, methodically got the ball down the field, and they might not get the quick score, big plays right now, but they're still possessing the football and being able to perform in the red zone, and that's something that you got to give them credit for. And there's mistakes in this game. There's no question about it. You can't have. I think Miller Moss would even talk about it. He said Miller Moss talked about having these slow starts and how these slow starts aren't acceptable. I think also, he can't turn the ball over twice in a game. I mean, he turns the ball over twice in the Penn State game. They're going to lose the Penn State game. So I think they know that they might lose the Minnesota game if they do that. So you can't turn the ball over. The milestone of getting his first Big Ten victory was big. They also have to make sure they now you have to go on the road at Minnesota. Looks like it's going to be 76 degrees. So it's not like it's going to be this this monsoon of snow or sleet or whatever they get in Minnesota. Possibly in the fall or the winter. So that's always a good thing. So the weather shouldn't be too much of a factor as far as that goes. And we'll kind of go over a lot of different things with that game, and we'll look at what Minnesota did last week in Ann Arbor to when they faced Michigan. They lost by the same score that USC did, 27-24. But good performance. They played well throughout. There wasn't a panic in the building at all. Maybe with fans, but not with the team. maybe with fans, but not with the head coach and the defensive coordinator and all the other coaches on this team. I think the one thing I'd be worried about a little bit is just like so the second bomb that they threw in the game. I mean, I just worry about you see it throughout you see it throughout college football. Just like just these DBs are just not being able to play the ball that's in the air. Um, and they just got better at they just gotta get better at it. You saw at the end of the Alabama game against Georgia, like these defensive backs just can't play the ball in the air in college football, and it's leading to huge plays. And you saw that in this game against the Carlos Nicholson, where that ball should have been at least batted down, at least get a PBU. Didn't get a PBU, ended up being a huge gain. So and that kept the drive alive. So little things to keep working on. I think the Eli Noah's play has been underwhelming. Just giving up a lot of pressures up the middle, like giving up a lot of pressure up the middle, and that's a hard spot to help from. Defensive the running backs could help on the edges with the pass rushers there, but when you can't hold your own on the inside, it's a tough deal. It's a tough deal when you can't hold your own inside. So they got to get better there. I don't know if it means a position somebody else plays and gives you something else, but it's not working with Eli Noah. I mean, they're not they've been okay. They've been okay on the offensive line. Not where not really the level you want to see them the USC play at the offensive line, but that there's a clear mark on 77, and he just has to get better, or he has to give that position to somebody else because they can't continue to be that bad in that spot. I mean, he's just been awful as that goes. So Student Body Right, USC podcast, kind of a quick instant reaction to the 38-21 victory over Wisconsin. USC gets that first Big Ten win. Just sounds weird just to even say that we're playing the Badgers, but hey, we gotta get used to it. Then USC's in the Big Ten, and they ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere as far as that is. So, all right, we're gonna break some things down later in the week to get you ready for Minnesota, and kind of do a little bit, kind of do a little more in depth stuff about this game, and then we'll get back to you Trojan fans about all that stuff. So, take care, have a good day, and as always, fight on.